Welcome to the new Hewlett-Packard Enterprise Around the Storage Block video blog. I'm your host, HPE Storage guy Calvin Zito.
Hey, I'm with a great partner, AntemetA. I'm with Samuel. Samuel, we did something, 4 years ago?
Probably, something like that.
Yeah, 4 years ago. 4 years ago at HP Discover, now we're at HPE Discover. You guys have a great product and are a great partner with 3PAR. Why don't you start by first introducing who you are and who's AntemetA?
So I'm Samuel Berthollier, CTO of AntemetA, and I handle the R&D for our company.
And you guys have been a partner with 3PAR even before Hewlett-Packard acquired them. What have you guys done with them?
So we have installed about 350 storage arrays from 3PAR from the beginning for the last 7 years. So it's been a great time for both AntemetA and HPE.
And now you guys are doing some pretty cool software. I think that's what we looked at 4 years ago. It's called 3PAR Vision. Why don't we, I know we're going to do a demo here in a minute, but tell folks what is 3PAR Vision?
So 3PAR Vision is a capacity planning tool and performance monitoring for just 3PAR storage. So it's very customized for this kind of arrays. And we out to give the best KPIs to deciders who need to buy storage on a daily basis. So it's really a predictive tool for capacity planning for 3PAR.
So you get capacity planning, performance numbers, but you can get some of that from system reporters. So what's different about what you guys are doing, and what's the additional information a customer can get that system reporter doesn't give them?
So it's a very good question. The main differences with SSMC are probably that it's a hard client first, so it can run on a TV for a long time and it doesn't disconnect from the 3PAR. Another edge that we have maybe over SSMC is it can do a lot of real-time stuff because it's a hard client again. So we have a dot every second and you can monitor that for several arrays at the same time. So it's a pretty important feature. And one of the last introductions that we made on the software is the feature of service level agreements. So basically you can monitor for 20 arrays at the same time, all the service level agreements in terms of latency, IOs, capacity that you're serving for your storage for all your customers.
Okay, well I think, let's show the demo because I think that'll take more questions or answer more questions than me keep talking. So how about we look at the demo?
Okay, sure, let's do that.
Here we are on the dashboard of 3PAR Vision. Basically, we arrived and opened Vision, and we are seeing all the capacity graphs. So we would have pies, representing the different tiers in the array. We would have thin provisioning representations, so you know how much capacity you have exposed to your servers and how much capacity is within the array and what's used within the array. You would have your top volumes and the repartition, the distribution of capacity across tiers. On a performance level, you would see front-end performance, the back-end performance in terms of IOPS and megabytes per second for a whole array. And then you can zoom in and see the highest points for each metric. You would have the top talkers in terms of volumes. For instance, here we see total IOs for all the volumes on a given array, and we can already see that there's a volume here that consumes a lot of IOs compared to the rest of the volumes. You would see as well the distribution of performance across the ports of a given array and all the ports per control. Regarding the remote copy, we are representing the IOPS and the megabytes per second for the remote couplings. Regarding the adaptive optimization, we are showing the distribution per tier. So we can see here that the adaptive optimization feature is really doing its job with all the hot tiers being placed on SSDs and all the capacity that is very less used onto SATA disk, which is the blue graphs here. We can as well see here below the space that moves up and down the tiers in the array. And a very interesting graph below here, we can see what are the volumes that are the most consuming SSDs or fiber channel or SATA disks. So we can see straight away that those volumes are the most costly because they're consuming most SSDs.
A very comprehensive set of information. This is, I think this is great for people that really want to get insight into how data is being consumed and how their different tiers of data are being consumed by different volumes. This is really great insight. What else can you show us here?
So what I am going to show you now is maybe some composed graphs that we've done that we think are interesting. For instance, here I'm managing 10 arrays, but I've represented 8 here. And we can already see, you know, on one single pane of glass, all the arrays with all the distribution of capacity across the tiers. In the same manner, we can see the capacity trending for all those 8 arrays. We can see that some arrays here got upgrades because we have added more disks in the time. And we can see here that some arrays are coming to be full at a given time, and we can already plan those upgrades. We will have, in a similar way, all the front-end service time that is represented on all the arrays. You know, it's very interesting to monitor this service time in order to make sure we are within the SLAs in terms of latency. One interesting thing as well is the volume performance, for which here I've represented the IOPS. We could have the service time, just monitoring that all the volumes are fine. And for instance, here on the top left corner, we can see that one of the volumes is doing 53 milliseconds of latency. And we could probably go in the matrix here to check what is wrong in order to view maybe the volume is doing a lot of taking a lot of writes from the server, for instance.
So I know we mentioned at the top that we're going to be looking at 3PAR Vision 3.0, and I know that's your latest vision or version of 3PAR Vision. What are some of the new features to show in 3.0?
So what we wanted to show you today is probably the alerts. Now we've compiled for all the arrays that Vision is monitoring all the alerts in a single pane of glass, and you can come here and dismiss your alerts and see at a glance within one pane all the alerts that you may have on a 3PAR system or on all the 3PAR systems. So one of the new features we've added in this version 3.0 of the 3PAR Vision is the real-time feature, and you can see 2 charts in fact for that. We can see here all 8 arrays being monitored in terms of IOPS in latency onto one pane, and we have a dot every second that moves. So for instance, I can come here and see what this volume is doing. I can see its latency, how much IOPS is doing, what is the name of the volume, and what is the host that's doing the IOPS. So it's quite interesting, and you can see by selecting different, for instance, this host is taking IOPS on all those volumes at this time. We can of course zoom in and have this as a large pane if we want to. So that's definitely something that you might want to have on a TV if you have a few arrays in your data center in order to monitor the performance. And another graph that's coming from real time is this one, where you can see dots, and you have the IOs and the megabytes per second on those charts. And the bigger the bubble is, the more latency there is. So you know, if you have a large bubble, it means that you have latency. So you know, the goal was here to see at a glance if there was issues on the arrays, and I can see from right this time that on the top left array, so on array 01 and the other array at the bottom, there is some heavy latency going on these arrays on some of the volumes.
So it's obviously what we're looking at is there's some data on the left and data on the right, and I can't tell from looking what's the difference. What are we looking at with the 2 sides of the screen?
So basically here we have a customer who has 8 arrays, and all the arrays on the left are source arrays, and all the arrays on the right are destination arrays, so source and destination, and so all the data that you see on the right is verification.
So is there anything else that's new that we should be looking at?
So one of the new features we've introduced in Vision version 3, and that's now coming out for Discover in London, is the deduplication. So you are now able to see how much dedupe you have on each volume in your 3-power array. So for instance, what we are looking at here is a graph where there's a few volumes that have deduplication. And what we see in the green is the total volume space. The light green is then the unique blocks, and the blue space is everything that's deduped.
So you can really drill down in and see exactly what's happening from a deduplication standpoint. That's great. What else? What's the other graph that is new that we should look at?
So on this graph, we've really wanted to bring something to the decision maker on the storage, on the data center level. And basically what we have is the SLAs on storage. So you would have latency, IOPS, and capacity. And what we see for each is the thresholds that we have set. And for the capacity part, there is a threshold that you can set in Vision. For instance, you want to be warned if anything goes across 85% of usage of the array, and then those thresholds would be represented here, so you can monitor your arrays.
Well, that's a great demo, but I also know that it's now an HPE SKU, right? So tell me what that means in terms of AntemetA being an HPE SKU.
So that means that our software, 3-power Vision and Peer Persistence for IIX, have been entering the HPE catalog for since yesterday, actually. And so any person, any customer can order directly from HP our software and install them on their array themselves. So all the SKUs are in the HP catalog. Anybody can order it.
That's great. And one last thing, if people want to learn more beyond what we show in the demo, where can somebody get more information?
So there's a website where basically you get all the information and you can request a trial. If you're a partner from HP, you can as well request for a pre-sales version that has all the data embedded, and that's available from 3powervision.com.
Okay, well, thanks for the time. This has been a great demo, great seeing you again, and all the best.
Thank you very much, Calvin.
Thanks for joining me on the Around Storage blog. You can find me on Twitter as Calvin Zito, and you can find my blog at our new blog home, hpe.com/storage/blog.